Hey, this is Ruth Hartunian Ellenbaugh, otherwise known as Ravings and Cravings. Hello to the YouTube world on that little black camera over there. It is great to be with you today in the studio. This is live. I always wonder about that. Like, if we go to live concerts and we do live radio, is there such a thing as the opposite?
It's a good question.
We won't answer that
Live
question.
in downtown Willie.
Yeah, that's better than like dead in downtown Willie. Live is good.
Yeah, let's not go there.
All right, let's not. I am so excited to have Frank Zabsky here with me, Mr. New Haven Pizza School. How many years ago did we meet for the first time?
3, 4 maybe? Something.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, maybe 5. I'm not sure.
we don't look any older, do we?
No. I'm probably about 20 pounds more fatter, though.
Well, I mean, the gut didn't get there in a day, right? That's
Ruth,
for sure.
I bought 2 brand new pairs of shoes, a brand new pair of earbuds, socks, workout clothes. You know how many times I worked out? Ugats, nothing, 0.
Zero. Oh, gonna have to work on that then.
Trying.
And then you come and bring pizza into the studio today.
That's for you.
That's awesome. So Matt and I will be happy. And Arthur already took his slice. I don't know. Did you get him on YouTube?
I think I did. I think I got him on
You
there.
should definitely get that in there. Today we're going to talk about some very interesting things. So Frank and I met, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Could be.
When I was still writing stories for the Chronicle, which is the local newspaper here in Willimantic. And I had this idea that I would love to have you and 2 of your other teammates at the time. You were called...
Band members.
Yeah, you were called the...
Pizza gavones.
Which means...
People who eat a lot of pizza.
And you know, I had to look up that word.
Well, it has a lot of different definitions, and some are not really good at all.
Uh-huh.
But the one that we went with, was someone who eats a lot. Mm-hmm. So the pizza gavones were 3 guys that ate a lot of pizza.
And that is exactly what you did. So the
Yes.
idea was, thank you to Dave Wallner at Willie Brew for letting us use the little room there that he has off the side of the main dining room. And I invited like 10 area pizza places, and they all are different.
Oh, yeah.
Because no 2 pies are alike, right?
And it's very different up here, the pizza, than down where I'm from, which is
I
New
know.
Haven area.
We're going to talk about that.
It's very different.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because we could talk about that all day.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't have all day. So 10 different pizza places. Every 15 minutes, they were supposed to bring in 1 pie. Some of them brought 2, 3, or 4. And
You were stressed out.
Oh man, I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. Lauren Flom was there. She was taking great still shots of you guys.
Yep.
And then we had YouTube footage, and I think it's still on YouTube. Some of your comments that you guys were making while you were eating the pizzas. But you've gone a little beyond that. You're not doing that anymore. So I want you to please talk about what you're doing now.
So what I'm doing now is a couple years ago, I started a pizza school in New Haven called New Haven Pizza School.
Okay.
And the whole premise is to teach people at home how to make New Haven style pizza in their home oven.
So what is New Haven style pizza?
It's very different than what's up here, which isn't bad.
So how is it different? Give me like a compare. Like Wayne always says this in the morning show. Compare and contrast.
Yeah, so
That's him, right?
New Haven style pizza traditionally is thin crust. Mm-hmm. The thing that people really have a hard time about who've not grown up with it is that we have char around the edges of the pizza, which basically is quote unquote burnt. Mm-hmm. So it's thin crust, very little mozzarella, the cheese.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And usually Italian or California tomatoes, pecorino romano, olive oil. But the bottom line is there's no substantial rim or crust on the pizza. Mm-hmm. That really is kind of what separates New Haven style from a lot of the other ones. Mm-hmm. Generally baked 550 to 650 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh, that's high. High heat?
So New Haven style is called low and slow.
Oh.
Low heat, slow bake.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it kind of crispy and crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
So in contrast to the pizza around here, mm-hmm. which I believe generally speaking is Greek style. Mm-hmm. So Greek style is definitely a thicker crust, probably 2 times more the mozzarella than we have down in New Haven. Mm-hmm. I've had really good Greek pizza in my day. It's just not what I grew up with. It's not, what I prefer. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the short version.
But like Zabsky is not an Italian name.
No, Zabsky is not an Italian name.
How did you do pizza when you have that background? Like, what is that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I grew up in a predominantly Italian neighborhood.
You did? Okay.
I was the only Polish guy on the street, and they called me the Polak. Good, bad, better, best. That's what I was.
You know what? I grew up in a community full of Polish Catholic people.
Yeah.
That was my reality.
Yeah.
Armenian girl, Polish Catholic community. All
Gotcha.
right. Yeah.
So I grew up in an Italian neighborhood. I grew up in West Haven, which is right next to New Haven, and it had a lot of famous pizzerias. But it kind of got in my blood, and it started when I was about 12 years old. Because one week a year at my church that I was involved with at the time, we had a carnival. And me and two of my other buddies were the guys who made the pizza. We actually made pizza fritte, which is fried dough.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there's these little kind of like 8-10-inch round pieces of dough that you put in oil, and it fries both sides till it's like golden brown.
Okay.
You take it out, you put sauce and fresh Parmesan cheese on it. It's phenomenal.
Sounds good.
That's kind of how it all started. I did that till I was 16 years old. And at 16 years old, I discovered something that I loved more than making pizza. Any idea what that might have been?
Okay, wait. Can you give me a hint? Because I want to try to guess.
16-year-old kid who went to an all-boys school.
Hot dogs. I don't know.
No, not hot dogs.
Not hot dogs. Okay.
Girls.
Oh, you discovered girls.
Yeah, so where I was going with this was I did the pizza every year, 1 week out of the year at the carnival until I turned 16. And I discovered that although I love pizza, I love girls better.
Ah, all right. So that's your new passion from there, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of where my pizza thing started. And we had this place called Zupardi's Abits, which is still around, and Mike's Abits. You guys might not be familiar with it up around here, but down where I am, it's super popular.
So, like, why do you say a beats? Like, what is that about?
That's a good question. So, it's kind of a long story. I'll give you the short version. So, in Italy, they spoke a bunch of different languages. And one of the languages, Napolitan. The way that they pronounced pizza was actually La Pizza, L-A''Pizza.
Okay.
But the immigrants who kind of had their own version of their own language, they took the L off, they took the apostrophe off, they shrunk it together, and they just call it Abits.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where the Abits came from.
Got it.
A lot of people, it drives crazy because they don't like it, they don't understand it, they think you made up the word. But traditionally, in New Haven-ish, around there, that's what we call it, Abits.
Yeah, I think we do have a lot of Greek style, but it's right next door to here. What is it? It's Monday. I don't think they're open on Monday. I'm not sure. But Trigo Pizza.
I saw it coming in.
They do the wood fire, very thin crust, and if you look at their menu, I think that's probably closer to the New Haven Abits kind of style. So you went from being a Gavone to, when did you start the school? How many years ago?
I started this April 2022.
22.
Yeah.
And so you launched out, and so how would someone who would like to know how to make this kind of pizza find your schedule and know where they can meet you to learn how to make it?
So that's real simple. My website is newhavenpizzaschool.com.
That's easy.
All lowercase, no funky spelling. People always ask me how'd I get into it, and maybe that was a question, but I'm going to answer it.
No, I was going to get there. Go ahead.
So I came out of a career of 30 years in IT. So I owned my own IT business for 30 years.
Wow.
A couple years ago, I decided I was done. For many, many reasons, I was done. So actually, when I started my IT career, I did a lot of stand-up training as a contractor. So back when I was starting out, Windows and Apple and all the applications were brand new. Probably there was 10% of the people in the whole population that had computers. So I got involved pretty heavily in teaching people how to learn how to work their computers, work the programs, work the applications. So I had that in the back of my mind. But the best way I could describe it is I took 3 things that I love.
Okay.
1, I love to talk. 2, I love to teach. And 3, I love to make New Haven style pizza.
Well, you forgot the girls.
Nah, I can't do the girls anymore. I'm married.
You're married. Okay, so those you have a girl. You're done, right?
Maybe in the back of my mind. But I got to keep it. I got to keep it on the.
Yeah. Yep. So you took 3 things that you love, you put them together, you started the New Haven Pizza School. You're also, that's the same name as your Instagram.
Right.
Right.
Everything is the same. Instagram, Facebook, my website, YouTube channel, everything is all New Haven Pizza School.
Well, Frank did bring some pizzas into the studio, so we'll take a look at those in a minute. But I'm curious about what are some of the things that people say about the New Haven Pizza School? Like, tell me some of your favorite comments that people have made.
So, let me just kind of, I'll answer that in a roundabout way.
Sure, go ahead.
So, when I first started this pizza school, I did it for quote unquote fun.
Fun.
Never did I think it would get to where it is today. And I always preface it by saying I know that it's not CIA, Culinary Institute of America. And for people that don't know that, it's probably one of the most popular, well-known cooking schools in the whole country, if not world. So I started it as kind of a diversion and something that I was always interested in doing. Like, I've been a serial entrepreneur my whole life. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to have no one interested, someone interested. And really what's happened is it's kind of like the rocket ship emoji that goes up in the air. It's beyond my wildest dreams where this has gone. I've had over probably 3,500 students in 2 years.
Really? Oh my gosh. Wow.
Because I have about 15, 20 students a class.
And then the class is what, how many hours?
3.5 hours.
Usually in New Haven?
Usually New Haven,
Okay.
yeah. The cool part about what's happening now is that I'm getting people from all over the country.
I bet.
Not just, New Haven, Connecticut. I've gotten people from California, Canada, Puerto Rico.
Oh.
And I've also actually helped a couple of places open up New Haven style pizzerias in other parts of the country.
So like you provide like a consult type of service, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's usually a day or two with me, and it's just one-on-one, and we just go over everything that you need to know to make New Haven style pizza wherever you are. But to get back to your initial question as far as the comments go, I can't really say that I have memorable comments, but I'll give you some kind of cool things that I never thought in a million years would happen. One, a lot of people asked to take pictures with me, which is kind of really cool. 2 is that when you see someone biting in to a pizza that they made with their own hands in your class, and they just close their eyes and they have that, I mean, it's just, they don't have to say anything. It's really, that's what kind of makes me continue to want to do this.
That's the moment, right? That's what you love. That's the moment.
Yes.
There's a song that is, the title of it is called Freeze the Frame.
Oh.
It's like you want to freeze that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I got out of IT, and there's really no nice way for me to say this, and it's certainly not going to be anything bad, but it got to be soulless. It was very transactional.
Yeah.
And that was it. With this pizza business, it's like people want to be there. They're happy. It's a lot of fun. And I'm a joker. So I joke around with them. It's kind of like...
You can get entertainment for free, right?
That's the word people use.
Oh, really? They do use entertainment?
Frank is entertaining.
All right. What does your wife say?
Well, my wife always says, because I've always been kind of funny, or I like to be funny. I like comedy. And she's like, Frank is funny if he's not your husband.
Okay. There we go. That's the caveat right there, right?
Yeah. But she's super supportive. She's supported me with all my craziness for the last 30 years. And, she just kind of lets me, do my thing.
How many people in each class? Do you have a max?
So minimum 12, maximum roughly about 20. I've done a little more, I've done a little less. 15 to 18 is generally the sweet spot. But it doesn't really matter because the place that I do it in is a really huge space and it's got a beautiful oven. It's all open. But the bottleneck usually is when people make, because everyone that comes to my class makes their own pizza from scratch.
Okay.
Dough, sauce, balling, blah, 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 blah. So that's the cool thing.
So I am very interested in ingredients.
Can't tell you everything.
Well, I do. Matt knows that I like to be told those secrets because then that makes this interview more special because they heard it here on Ravings and Cravings. But I can give up a little of that and I can humble myself. If you could maybe just tell us a few things about what you feel strongly about, like what are the elements that make a really good beets?
Yeah.
Without giving your secrets away.
I'm going to tell you everything. I never told you this before, but I absolutely love the name Ravings and Cravings.
Oh, really?
I do. I think it's ingenious.
And you know what's funny? You want to know how I got that? It's a very short story. My son.
Well, this is your show too. You can.
Well, oh, okay, yeah. I can talk about myself.
Yeah.
Well, my son is a graphic designer. And so I said, what is your suggestion about how to, because once I brand myself, I don't want to have to do it again because that's a big, expensive thing, right? So he said, write down the first 100 ideas of what you want to call your column or your whatever. So I got stuck. So I asked the Facebook community for help. And my friend Carlton Newell came up with Ravings and Cravings. I did not even. That's his.
It's okay.
So he gets credit for that. And I did. 100 is hard to come up with.
Yeah.
So that's him. And then for Instagram, it's the order. It's you crave it first, then you eat it, and then you love it. So that's why it's crave, eat, love for Instagram.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And thanks to Carlton.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ingredients.
So here's the ingredients. Without getting too deep into the history of New Haven pizza, but we have a little bit of time, I think. New Haven pizza was started with the Italian immigration that came over from Italy to the United States, roughly turn of the century. They, at the time, were going through a lot of issues, classified as the unification. So they, kind of where Italy was at the turn of the century, was where we were prior to 1776 becoming United States. Italy had all different city-states within Italy itself. So, long story short, wasn't a good place to live. It was a beautiful place to live, but it wasn't really a great place to live if you had a family or wanted to grow a business or anything like that. And this obviously was also prior to World War I. So, on the East Coast in New England, we had something revolutionary called the Industrial Revolution.
And it happened in this town.
100%.
Thread City. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
With the thread mills.
Yeah. So we went from a society that didn't make a lot of things or sell a lot of things to now a society that did. So there was a lot of entrepreneurs that started companies with ideas that they had to make things. And the problem with that was that there wasn't enough workers to make the products. I don't think they ever anticipated the demand for the things that they made that would sell. So it was kind of a match made in heaven. And there were also other nationalities of immigrants that came over. We're not, this is about New Haven pizza, but I don't want to not include those other nationalities. And they're all shapes and sizes that came over to Connecticut. But the Italians came over mostly from the Amalfi Coast. Most of them, believe it or not, were bakers of some sort. Or they were farmers, bakers. If you look at Italy, Italy is basically an island that's attached to the top of Europe. So obviously, if you were surrounded by water all the time, people fished a lot. So bottom line is, we needed workers. They needed work. They went from Italy, Ellis Island, Manhattan, the 5 boroughs. That was kind of the initial wave of immigrants. Now, I'm not telling you that they didn't. A couple ended up in Chicago, and I think there's also, believe it or not, a big contingency that went to Argentina for some reason. But nonetheless, they ended up coming. A lot of them ended up coming to New Haven because we had an incredible industrial revolution there. And I don't want to get too far into the history, but the bottom line is, a lot of people don't know this. Prior to the Italian immigration, very little Italian food in the United States.
Ah.
Not that there wasn't any, but there wasn't a lot. And there definitely wasn't pizza. So here's where I'm leading with this. I consider myself, now I've been making pizza seriously 20 years, on and off probably 20 more prior to that. So I consider myself an immigrant baker.
Immigrant baker. Let me think about what that means. That's very interesting.
Yes. What it means to me is it's simple. Now, the immigrants, and I tell people in my class all the time, and this is not demeaning, this is just the facts, they were not educated people. They weren't stupid, but they weren't educated. So most of them could not read and could not write. Frank Pepe, who a lot of people have probably heard that are listening to this, Pepe's, he could not read, he could not write. And the way he used to sign the rent checks before he bought his building that it's in now is he used to sign an X on the line. Where I'm going with this, they did not have the opportunity for an education. So where I'm going with this is, there's 4 ingredients to making really good pizza dough.
All right, go ahead and name them.
They're simple.
And then you're going to need to do the demo before we run out of time.
Oh, boy.
So
how much time we have?
I have like 1 minute if I'm lucky.
I'll give you 3.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Good. Thank you, Matt.
All
Go
right.
for it.
New Haven bread flour, room temperature tap water, instant dry yeast, sea or kosher salt.
Okay.
Okay?
That's for the crust.
That's for the crust. The trick to the crust is pre-mix as much as possible. So you put all those things together, you hand mix them with a spatula, then you put it in the mixer for probably 1.5 to 2 minutes.
So you don't mess with it a lot.
Don't mess with it a lot.
So go ahead. You brought a little visual aid for people on YouTube to take a look at. This is what you do in your school, right?
Yeah, so I just teach people how to toss dough, and it's just like this here. And really what I'm doing is I'm taking my left fist, my right palm, and I'm just kind of tossing it up like that. Ruth, you got to try this.
All right, I will try it when we're done off the air because I want to.
No.
All right,
Here, try it.
All right. I have pizza dough that's made out of rubber.
Oh, easy now.
And it's flying over to Matt. I'd have to be practicing this for.
Let me try it. Let me show you one other quick thing. Hand up, palm out.
Oh, palm
go
out.
like this, and just come up like this.
Oh,
so all
okay.
you're doing is coming up.
I might be able to do that better, huh?
Spin your wrist. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. I'm a professional here. Well, look, I got to tell you, this has been too much fun and it's too short. I wish I had more time. I want to just wrap it up. I'm here with Frank Zabsky from the New Haven Pizza School, who really busted his butt to get here today and even bring pizza with him. Very kind of you to do that.
You're welcome.
Really grateful. Guys, check out his Facebook page, check out websites, check out Instagram, find where he is. I have it on my radar. I have not made it to the class yet.
You have VIP.
What?
The VIP pass to one of my classes. I told you that.
And you know what? I will get there.
Can I we have time for one more announcement?
Go ahead.
So I hooked up with Connoisseur Media, who has a lot of radio stations in Connecticut. Long story short, Bridgeport Amphitheater, August 11th. We have the biggest pizza fest in the whole state. It's called Connecticut Pizza and Brew Fest, August 11th.
Okay.
3 live bands, 20 pizza trucks,
Whoa.
20 beer vendors. It's going to be, we did it last year. It was a huge success. This year is going to be bigger, better, stronger, faster.
You're going to be there, I guess.
100%.
All right. And you know what? Maybe I'll see you at pizza school sometime. Thank you, Frank, for being
welcome.
here. Thank you, Matt, for doing tech. This is Ruth Hartunian Ellenbaugh, otherwise known as Ravings and Cravings, signing off on Good Company, WILI.